But for you, when that understanding happened for you, then everything was finished? The mind?
No, because we are living in this world, we have come across with many things around us and we have some reaction for that. So it used to be there, but we should not question the reaction. The reaction is an unconscious one. It is happening. Yeah. We cannot question it. We should not arrange ourselves that no reaction should come to me. So we need not protect it ourselves. We have to wide open. This psychological world is concerned, it must be an open world.
Wide open, yeah. So it's like not only the front door open, but the back door open.
No doors.
No doors. Without any door. Keeping ourselves without the door is alone is the duty psychologically.
I think we have so many, I speak for myself, there's so many expectations about enlightenment. And this is the biggest obstacle, maybe.
But many persons thinking that enlightenment, liberation is a strange thing, but it is not a strange thing.
Yeah.
But comparing with the other thing, it is a strange thing, but it is a natural thing. You need not work for that. If you understand, it is here and now.
Yeah. And sometimes I wonder, is it possible that it could already have happened? Or something that understanding is there, but there's still... Because intellectually, like Murray, I have no problem understanding it at all. It kind of makes absolute sense. But like Murray, I also feel that freedom hasn't really happened. There is a lot of freedom there. There's definitely more freedom. But it's not this absolute freedom or something. There's still a me. There's still a me that has the understanding.
So here, whatever happens in the mind is just like a happening. There is no part on our side. So whatever, some good thing may happen, bad thing, if you select some good thing alone may happen, must happen, that alone is the problem. With our expectation alone is the problem. We put our expectation in the psychological level. So we must receive everything unexpectedly. It must be a natural thing. But here, some wrong may have we may ourselves we have committed a wrong in the psychological world itself. We have to consider it as a natural happening. As we are doing some wrong, we do not take it as a conscious wrong, as we have committed a wrong. It is a natural thing. So whatever comes in the mind, whatever comes in the psychological world is natural happening. And we should not find fault with anything. Even though it is a fault one, even though it is a wrong one, we have to give the full mark, it is a correct.
Not hold on to it in another way,
We should not find fault with anything.
Because I think, speaking for myself, the thing I find the most fault with is myself, really, the way I kind of think. And that's a hard one to...
So what they call in Sanskrit the AkANKARA, that's the I sense, isn't it? The AkANKARA, that's the basic sense of I am. So even that AkANKARA, that can be there also. Is that correct?
It is also a psychological factor.
It's also a psychological
factor. It looks like a person, but it is not a person. It looks like a person, but it is also an experience.
Yes.
But we think it is an experiencer. But actually it is an experience.
It's so strange because there's an awareness of the AkANKARA, there's an awareness of this I am. So sometimes it feels like it's an experiencer, and then at other times it's definitely an object, an experience. Because how can I say I am if it's not an object? But yet it seems to have a tight grip sometimes, this AkANKARA.
For example, when you see a mirage in the sunlight, we know it is a mirage. But even though you understand it is a mirage, it will be still there. So in this way, even though you understand the I consciousness is not a person, but it is only an experience, still it will look like a person.
Still it will look like a person. See, and I think that's the key. That's the key. And when we read texts, they talk like, oh, there must be no AkANKARA. The AkANKARA must must disappear. There must be no sense of doership. But that doership can be there as an object. I guess. Even the sense of doership.
Do you see, actually, whatever comes in, it is an experience. In general sense, everything is experience. But we take it as an experiencer. The experiencer, there is no experiencer. But it is also, even though it looks like an experiencer, it is also an experience. Just like another emotion. The I consciousness is also a kind of emotion.
Right. The thing about that experience, the AkANKARA, is it seems so constant. Whereas the other experiences, I may be angry, I may be sad, it's clear that they come and go. But that sense of the I as the experiencer seems so constant.
It's constant and permanent.
Yes, that's how it's
in play also it's not, is it? Because a lot of the times during the day you forget about it. Well, during the day, like most of the time I'm driving a motorbike, I don't have a sense of I. Only when there's something like suddenly you have to do an emergency thing or something, then it comes in. But in most of the daily actions, there isn't really a sense of I, is there? Is there? I don't. Most of the time in the day, there isn't really a sense of I.
Most of the time, the sense of I am is
not there. It's not there. It's absent.
In what time?
During the daytime, and then every now and then it kind of come up. But it becomes. But that's the thing that we kind of focus on. But a lot of the time when we're doing daily activities, I'm certainly not conscious of an I am.
So each and every thought, it will dual in nature. Each and every thought will dual in nature. For example, whenever you are dreaming, is there any segment of dream without I consciousness? Each and every segment, there must be I consciousness.
There must be.
So in this way, in the daytime also, we are conceiving everything just like a dream, just like a thought. So with the thought alone, with the help of the thought alone, we recognize everything. So even though we have some emotion or anything, we conceive everything only with the help of our thought. So whenever we conceive everything with the help of our thought, naturally there must be the I am.
Sense of I,
The sense of I am must be there.
But is that like when we identify with the thought? Like it's because thoughts are going on almost all the time, but we don't grasp hold of them all the time. It's only when a thought that interests us comes along that we kind of go. So when the thoughts are just kind of passing by, then there is really no sense of I, is there?
What he says about the accent.
He says that even though the thoughts are passing by, coming and going, there may be no sense of I. Right?
Yeah, until we want to interfere, until we want to either grab hold of something or it's disturbing us and we want to reject it. It's only...
So some thoughts are not a problem, they just come and go. And then there's no sense of I, he's saying. But other thoughts are very important.
But here, can you fix any thought without the I am? The thoughts are wandering there, but if you see...
Right, so if you notice a thought, the I am is there.
But you are not noticing, but anyhow, some I am is there. Without the I am, there cannot be any thought. But even the passing thought itself, some portion of the thought must be in the form of I am. So otherwise, there cannot be any thought. Each and every thought, it has to have some distinction. It will say something. Each and every thought says something. It will give you a picture. And in that picture, some place will be there for you. But apart from the thought, we are taking the thought into the thinking process. And in the thinking process alone, we estimate the thought, we are watching the thought. Thereby, we are creating another thought that is in the thinking. Yes. We are creating a thinking process. The thinking process is also a kind of thought. And in the thinking process, we are consciously holding the I am. But in the thought, we are not consciously holding the I am. But even though we are not consciously holding the I am is also there.
As the observer?
Not observer, But as a subject and object relationship, some subject in the name of I am will be there.
Because Ramana, he talks about the I thought being absorbed finally into the self. But yet, from what you're saying and what I see is that I thought even can be there as long as we know that it's the snake, not the rope. That it can still be there, the I thought. Because Ramana talks like it gets absorbed into the self.
So actually, self will never absorb anything. The self will express everything.
Right.
So actually, everything is the expression of the self. It will not grab anything towards the self. So everything is the expression of the self. Even the I am, thought, whatever it be, some unnecessary thing, unwanted feeling, everything is the expression of the self. There is no special interest for anything. I must grab this one, I should not grab. So everything is the expression of the self. So the self is the base. And from that, everything emerges.
Right. So about this kind of thing where Ramana talks about this kind of almost like a death experience where the mind gets pulled into what he called the heart and burnt out completely. The kind of ego sense.
So,
does that happen?
So actually what has happened to Ramana is that previously he was, his father has died, and he was brought up as a fatherless child, a fatherless person, and proper attendance has not been given to him, attendance has not been given to him. So, in a neglected way alone, he was treated. And in that condition, he is not very interested to live in a happy life. So that one time he had a feeling of death. So he don't mind even death itself. So because he is already in a position that nothing is good, nothing is wrong, and in that condition, some fear of death came to him. And he don't mind the even fear of death itself. When he don't mind anything happening in the mind, he simply understands the natural flow of the mind.
Right.
So that is what has happened to him.
But it seemed that for him, in that moment, everything was finished.
But the matter is that he has understood the flowing nature of the mind. That alone is the happening. But at the time of the happening, he did not know what has happened to him.
Yeah, of course.
Only in the latter period alone, he came to know what has happened to him. There are many pundits and many scholars around him. And according to this, some philosophy, some school of thought and literature, Vedanta and many things. So he connect the happening and this philosophy and give a new name to that. But actually the realization came, that is true. There is no doubt about it. But he did not even know what has happened to him at the time of happening. Because he was a very
because he was untrained.
A small boy, not knowing anything about the spiritual world itself.